Hi Stampers! Today we're going to be making this little scallop square box, and I love it because it's really nice and roomy on the inside here. You can put quite a lot of stuff inside of it. I'm even putting like a roll of tape in there, but I just wanted to show you you can make a nice size box just out of this scallop square die. So let's get started. So I've already done some of these things ahead of time just to save a little time on the video. So what you're going to be using is you're going to be using your scallop square die, which is from the Big's clear die sets. And I went ahead and did 2 scallops in the chocolate chip already. And what's great about the Big Shot is you can run multiple layers through. So I did these both at the same time. So that's what we have there is those chocolate chip die pieces. Then I also took another strip of chocolate chip paper, and what I did is I cut it 10.5 inches long by 3 inches wide, and I scored it at 3 5/8 inches, then turned it and scored it again at 3 5/8 inches, and on the long sides I scored it 1/4 inch on both sides. So you can see how I did that. Then we're just going to fold up on each of these score lines, and we're going to go ahead and apply some sticky strip to the long sides. So I've already done that just to show you, but this is basically what I used with sticky strip. And I went ahead and applied the sticky strip to the 1/4 inch cuts. Then we're going to go ahead and cut in on these small lines here on the inside of the box, just up to the 1/4 inch line. So you don't want to go past that. This is basically going to be the bottom of our box, and these are the sides of our box. So we're going to go ahead and take off this sticky strip, and then I'll show you how I've applied it to the scallop to make the box. So we'll go ahead and take this off on all sides. Actually, let's just do the one side first, and then I'll kind of show you. It might be a little easier to be able to picture it that way then. So I've taken it off the sticky strip on this one side only. I'm going to take my scallop square, and what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this up. Make sure that these are folded down pretty good. Okay, and we're going to apply it basically just kind of fold in your box. And you want to try to make this as square as possible, so just kind of eyeball it there. And a little bit away from the sides, so it's not going to be perfectly up to the sides. You want it kind of centered in the middle. And then we're just going to kind of place it down like that. Okay, and that's one of your sides. And then I'll just go ahead and kind of press it down a little bit more. Then I'm going to go ahead and take off the sticky strip from the other 2 sides, or the other 3 sides, excuse me. And then we'll apply the other part of the box. And just put the scallop square on this side, and then we'll have our box ready to go, and all we have to do is decorate it. So it's that simple to make a little box. You know, it really is a nice size, which is great if you want to put a little gift inside, a package of cookies, you know, hot chocolate. You could probably even put, you know, a small box of jewelry or something inside of there too. I'm having a little trouble with my sticky strip today, but we'll get it. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with this side, and again I'm just going to place my scallop square down, make sure that these are pressed inward pretty well. You want to make sure it's pretty square, and then just go ahead and place that down on top of the other scallop square, and just press it down lightly. Then you can give it a good pressing after that. And you can see you can get this a little bit better squared up than I have on the video if you just take your time. But anyways, that makes your box for you. So that gives you your square box. Okay, so now we're going to do basically the outside of the box. So what I've used for that is I've taken the set. It's called Sweet Summer. And this is in the Celebration catalog, which isn't actually due out until January. But I just wanted to show you what you can do with this little set. I love this set. It's so pretty. And I have the clear one, so we're going to be using the leaves from that set. And I'll be putting that on Whisper White paper. This piece is cut 3.5 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. And I'm using the Stays On Black ink for this because I'm going to be coloring it in, and I want to really get a nice deep image. So I put it about there. Okay. And then we're also going to be taking and going ahead and stamping our little bird from that set, which I just think is so cute. I love that little bird. And again, using the black Stays On ink. And we're also going to be using the black Stays On ink for the flower. And I've used this flower. I don't really know what kind of flower it is, but I just think it's really a pretty flower. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that as well. And give yourself enough room because we're going to be cutting these out, but we're also going to be using some punches to get those out so we don't have to cut so much. Then to color them in, I'll kind of just quickly show you how I did that. On the leaves, I went ahead and used Old Olive. And I'm just going to go ahead and squinch the pad so that the ink is on top there. And I used one of our blending pens. And I'm just going to go ahead and color it in with Old Olive on the leaves. Okay, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and use the Always Artichoke just to highlight it a little bit. Again, using the same technique. But this time I'm just going to go in the center of my leaves just to give it a little bit more dimension. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and color in our flower. And what I've used for the flower is I've actually used some Peach Parfait. And I'll go ahead and color that in. And again, I'm just using just a little bit of ink here. It really doesn't take much at all to color these in. Okay, clean off my brush, or my blender pen, I guess you should say. And then we're going to use a little bit of cherry cobbler to highlight that and to get those little berry things on the top there. So again, I'm just using the ink from the top there. Just going to color that in slightly. And then to highlight this orange Peach Parfait, I'm just going to go ahead and come up on the leaf a little bit. Just kind of blend it in. Okay. And I also put a little bit of cherry cobbler on the neck of the bird, so I might as well go ahead and color that in while we're here. And I used a little bit of crumb cake and also some Baja Breeze on the bird. So the body is Baja Breeze and the head is crumb cake. So we'll go ahead and just color in the body with the Baja Breeze. And you can see I'm using the same blender pen for all of these. As long as you clean it off in between, and just kind of rub it on your paper, you're fine. And a little bit of crumb cake for the top of the head. There we go. So now all our pieces are colored in. So now all I really have to do is cut this out. Now I did freehand cut out the bird, so I'll show you how I did that. I just went ahead and just did that with the scissors. And there's our little bird. And then for this one, I actually took a 3/4 inch punch. Anything I can punch, I do. And I just punched it out. And that fits pretty nicely in that 3/4 inch punch. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and we can apply this and get this all together already. So I just used a Stampin' Dimensional, one of these little pop-up things, for the back of the flower. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. I just put one on, and that just gives it a nice little height. And then as far as the bird, I just went ahead and used the snail for him, just to attach him to the top of the branch. So we'll just stick him right on there. Okay, so this part is done. So now the next little part I did is I went ahead and I did this little button here. And again, this is from the same set. And what it is, it's the little bee inside of here. So we're going to take that little bee and we'll go ahead and stamp him out and color him in. Again, using just Whisper White paper. And then I used a little bit of Daffodil Delight to color in the bee and kind of highlighted it with my black pen. So we'll go ahead and do that. And these have thick sides and also fine sides. So I'm just going to use the fine side to color in some of the little black on the bee. And then I'll use some of the daffodil to get the yellow on the bee. Alright. And then I used what they call Build-A-Brads to go ahead and make that little button. This little button here. So we're going to go ahead and use that, and I'll show you how you use these Build-A-Brads. This comes in a set, and it comes with a sticky sheet of button type glue, and then it also comes with this little brad that has nothing on it, so it allows you to customize your brads. So we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to do this. This actually is a 1/2 inch Build-A-Brad. So this is a 1/2 inch, this picture there, that's going to fit in. So we're going to go ahead and use our 1/2 inch circle punch. We're going to go ahead and punch out that little bee. Then we're going to take our paper that's in the Build-A-Brad set, and one side of this button is going to be very sticky and one side is not. So on the sticky side, I'm going to apply my image, and it's going to go face down because that's the side that's going to be looking up once we put them on the Build-A-Brad. Then in order to stick them on the Build-A-Brad, I used a little clear dot, and I just put that on there. Then I went ahead and applied my little clear dot right over the image. Okay, so you see how that works? And then you actually have this little brad that works great. Okay, so, and then the only other thing that I've done is I've taken a piece of paper here, which is called the Old Olive Designer Series Patterns paper, and I went ahead and cut out a piece of that. And this is actually cut at, oh, let's see, I believe it's 3.5 by 3.5. Yep, 3.5 by 3.5. And that's actually what's going to go on the face of our box, like so. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put everything together so that I can show you how I've done this. And I've also taken about 4 inches of the Old Olive grosgrain ribbon, and I just went ahead and I folded it in half. And we're going to put that right up in the corner here. And how I did that is I just went ahead and I used some snail. And just went ahead and applied that right onto the ribbon itself. And I kind of tucked it up in the corner here. So, here we go. And then in order to get this on there, I used the crocodile. Because in order to go through that many layers, you really need to use the crocodile. And I use the 3/16 inch side. So we're going to go ahead and punch a hole right through there. Put that up in the corner. Okay. And sometimes you have this little excess that's sticking out here. Just go ahead and trim that off. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put our brad right through and apply our little bee. Okay, there we go. And then the last thing that we have to do is I've taken a piece of cherry cobbler paper, and again this measures about 3.5 inches by about 1 inch, 1 to 1.5 inches wide, and I've used our scallop punch here. I'm just going to go ahead and punch that out. And I don't know how many of you have used this, but if you just, this one you do actually look at the top of the punch in order to see if you're lined up, because it has a guide right on top. If you just kind of keep on putting it through that guide, it'll show on through on the other side here on the guide that you're lined up. And you kind of just match these up. And then you have this piece cut. And I think I'm going to make this maybe just slightly thinner. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit because we don't need all this on the bottom. There we go. So we've got that all done. Then the next little thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our cherry cobbler to the back of the Whisper White. And you just want it sticking up a little bit. Just to give a little more color to that. And then we're going to go ahead and apply all of this to the old olive, and I just use snail for that. Alright, and then to apply this to the back, I've used the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I use 4 of those. And then we're just about done. And you have the cutest little box in the world here, I'll tell you. I love this little thing. And there you have it. A cute little scallop box. Using our new set from the Celebrations catalog called Sweet Summer. Thanks. Have a great day, Stampers. Bye-bye.